Every year, car companies promise the same thing: more power, bigger batteries, longer range, faster numbers. But this year, something strange is happening with the Tesla Model Y Juniper refresh. The specifications barely move. The range isn't dramatically higher. The performance isn't night and day different. So why did Tesla redesign it at all? More importantly, could this boring update actually save you thousands of dollars over the next 5 years without you even noticing? And are most owners judging Juniper completely the wrong way? That's exactly what we're breaking down today. This is autogearshift. Now let's get into it, because if you judge Juniper like a normal facelift, you're going to miss the point and quietly pay for it later. If Tesla removed dozens of parts and cut failure points in half, could that quietly save you $1,000 to $2,000 in repairs over 5 years? When most people look at the Juniper refresh of the Tesla Model Y, the first reaction is usually disappointment. No new battery, no big power bump, just new lights and a cleaner interior. And that reaction makes sense, because we've been trained to think an upgrade must mean bigger numbers, more horsepower, more range, more features, something you can screenshot and brag about. But here's the problem with that mindset. None of those numbers actually determine how expensive a car is to live with. Ownership cost doesn't come from specifications. It comes from how often things break. And that's exactly where Tesla is quietly changing the game with Juniper. Under the surface, this refresh isn't about looks. It's about simplification. Fewer parts, fewer connectors, fewer separate modules, larger cast pieces replacing dozens of smaller stamped components, shorter wiring harnesses, less mechanical complexity inside the cabin. At first glance, that sounds like cost cutting. Some people even interpret it as cheapening the car. But mechanically, fewer parts is almost always better engineering. Think about it like this. Imagine 2 desks. One is built from 50 screws and brackets. The other uses 15 larger solid pieces. Which one starts rattling after 3 years? Which one loosens over time? Cars work the same way. Every clip, connector, sensor, and small module is a potential failure point. If a vehicle has 50 small components in one system, that's 50 opportunities for something to go wrong. Reduce that to 18 or 20 integrated pieces, and you've just removed 30 chances for failure before the car even leaves the factory. That doesn't show up on a brochure, but it absolutely shows up in your repair history. And modern repairs are not cheap anymore. A door control module can cost $400 to $700 installed. A wiring harness issue can easily hit $800 once labor is included. Electrical diagnostics often run $150 per hour. It only takes 3 or 4 small problems over 5 years to quietly burn through $1,000 to $2,000. That's real money, and it's exactly the kind of money most owners never factor in when comparing trims or model years. That's the first clue that Juniper isn't built to look like an upgrade. It's built to behave like a cheaper car to own. If efficiency drops from 270 watt-hours per mile to 250 watt-hours per mile, are you looking at a tiny specification change or hundreds of dollars back in your pocket? Here's another common misconception that trips up almost every buyer. People obsess over range. They ask, does it go 20 miles farther, or did the battery get bigger because those numbers feel easy to compare? Bigger must be better. Right. But range is mostly a marketing stat. It tells you how far you can drive once. It doesn't tell you what you'll pay every month. What actually determines your real-world cost is energy consumption, how much electricity the car needs per mile. And this is where Juniper gets interesting, because Tesla keeps focusing on efficiency instead of chasing bigger batteries. Slightly better aerodynamics, a bit less weight, smarter motor control, improved heat pump behavior in cold weather. None of these changes are dramatic alone, but together they reduce how much energy the car uses every single mile. Let's put numbers to it, because this is where most people underestimate the impact. Say the older version averages 270 watt-hours per mile. Juniper improves that to 250 watt-hours per mile. On paper, that 20 watt-hour difference sounds meaningless. Most people wouldn't even notice. but multiply it out over real driving. If you drive 15,000 miles per year, at 270 watt-hours per mile, you use about 4,050 kilowatt-hours annually. At 250 watt-hours per mile, you use roughly 3,750 kilowatt-hours. That's 300 kilowatt-hours saved every year without changing how you drive at all. Now convert that into money. With electricity prices between 20 cents and 30 cents per kilowatt-hour in many areas, that's about $60 to $90 saved per year. Over 5 years, you're looking at $300 to $450. Still doesn't sound life-changing. Here's the key. This saving stacks on top of everything else. It's automatic. You don't think about it. It just quietly lowers every bill. It's like improving gas mileage from 28 miles per gallon to 31 miles per gallon. You wouldn't call that revolutionary, but over tens of thousands of miles, you absolutely feel the difference in your wallet. And this is where Tesla's philosophy clashes with what most buyers expect. Instead of giving you a bigger battery to advertise a higher range number, they give you a car that simply wastes less energy. Because a larger battery makes the car heavier and more expensive, efficiency makes it cheaper to run forever. If the interior looks simpler and less premium, is Tesla cutting corners or preventing $800 to $2,000 replacements later? After talking about fewer parts and better efficiency, there's one area that always sparks complaints with a refresh, like Juniper, the interior. People see fewer physical buttons, less chrome, more minimalist surfaces, and materials that don't scream luxury. And the immediate reaction is, Tesla is cheaping out. And honestly, if you judge it purely from a showroom perspective, that criticism feels fair. The cabin doesn't look dramatically more premium. In some spots, it even looks more basic. But here's the uncomfortable truth: most owners only learn after 3 or 4 years. Luxury-looking parts often age the worst. Glossy trim scratches, chrome fades, soft leather cracks, complex powered mechanisms fail, tiny motors inside seats and vents wear out. The more moving pieces you have, the more things start rattling, buzzing, or breaking once the warranty is gone. So instead of asking, does this look more upscale on day one? A smarter ownership question is, how will this look and function after 80,000 miles? That's where Tesla's approach starts to make sense. Juniper's interior design leans heavily toward fewer mechanical components and more durable materials. Less motorized complexity, fewer separate trim pieces, more solid, integrated panels, more synthetic surfaces that resist wear instead of delicate finishes that age fast. It's the same philosophy you see in commercial vehicles or fleet cars. They aren't built to impress you for 10 minutes at delivery. They're built to survive years of daily abuse without falling apart. Think about seats. For example, traditional leather looks great early on, but after 4 or 5 years of heat, sweat, and constant sliding in and out, it creases and cracks. Repairing or reupholstering even one seat can cost $800 to $1,200. Replacing multiple pieces of interior trim or fixing broken motors can easily push the bill past $2,000. Now multiply that by thousands of owners once the car hits year 5 or 6. Tesla's synthetic materials and simpler layouts might look less fancy, but they tend to last longer with fewer cosmetic failures. Fewer moving parts also means fewer rattles, fewer service appointments, and fewer small annoyances that slowly make a car feel old. So what looks like cost-cutting is often durability engineering. Again, it's not something reviewers celebrate. No one makes a viral video about this trim piece survived 10 years. But financially, avoiding 1 or 2 interior repairs can save as much money as all the efficiency gains we talked about earlier. And once you start looking at Juniper through that lens, the design feels less like a downgrade and more like a long-term ownership strategy. Boring, maybe. Cheaper to live with, almost certainly. If resale value improves by just 5 to 8%, could that alone put $1,500 to $2,500 back in your pocket? Now we get to the part most people completely ignore, and ironically, it's usually the biggest number of all: depreciation. It's funny. Owners will argue for hours about saving $50 a year on electricity, but they won't think twice about losing $15,000 in value when they sell the car. Yet depreciation is almost always the largest cost of ownership. It's value loss. For a vehicle in this price range, dropping $12,000 to $18,000 over 5 years is totally normal. That's the bill nobody tracks because you don't pay it monthly. You pay it once when you sell or trade in, but it's very real. And this is where Juniper might deliver the biggest financial advantage of all. A refreshed design automatically looks newer for longer. Park an older pre-refresh model next to a facelift, and the older one instantly feels dated even if both drive the same. Buyers in the used market notice that, and when something looks outdated, they negotiate harder. But when your car still looks current, demand stays stronger. On top of that, everything we discussed earlier, fewer parts, fewer failures, simpler construction, better efficiency also improves perceived reliability. Used buyers don't just care about mileage. They care about risk. A car known for fewer problems sells faster and holds price better. Now run the math. If a typical 5-year depreciation is, say, $15,000, and Juniper's design and durability help it retain even 5 to 8% more value, that's $750 to $1,200 saved. If the market rewards it more strongly, that number can easily reach $1,500 or even $2,000 plus. And suddenly, this one category alone is worth more than all your electricity savings combined. That's why depreciation is the silent killer of car ownership costs, and also why small improvements in resale value matter so much. So while everyone debates whether Juniper got a bigger battery, the smarter financial question is, will this version be easier to sell for more money later? You just don't see it until the day you cash out. Now I'm curious what you think. If you were buying today, would you pick the older version or the one designed to quietly save you money? If this breakdown helped you see Juniper differently, hit like, subscribe, and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next deep dive. Auto gear shift is exactly where you want to be.